In Paris, 3 major trade unions took to the streets, uniting in strong opposition against the Macron government's proposed 2026 budget, which they believe poses serious risks to workers and public services. Videos emerging from the heart of Paris captured hundreds of determined protesters filling the streets, waving union flags and holding banners high as chants echoed through the bustling city. Union leaders have argued that the proposed budget would divert crucial public sector funds, money meant for healthcare, education, and welfare, towards expanding defense and military spending. Protesters claim that this controversial move is driven by the government's desire to meet the European Union's and NATO's defense spending targets, rather than addressing the real needs of French citizens.
I don't think it's right that the defense budget is increasing. It's normal to have national defense, but I'm not in favor of warmongering. Everything that was said by the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces, it's not normal for him to intervene at a meeting of mayors, to say, prepare for war and all that. It's to try to scare people and justify the fact that there's less money for public services, for schools, for hospitals, for young people, for the elderly, for everything.
This increase in the defense budget, which is enormous, will inevitably be at the expense of many other budget items. In fact, it will be at the expense of all budget items in all other areas, in the civil service in general, the entire civil service. The savings that could be made on the army could be given to other ministries that are in great need. But that will not be the case, which is a great pity.
Many teachers also joined the massive march in Paris, raising their voices to warn about the rapidly deteriorating conditions in schools and the growing strain on the education system.
I am a teacher, and today we can clearly see the Museum of Horrors, as Sophie Binet said, which is a budget that has been presented to the National Assembly, including 4,000 job cuts in the national education system. I teach at a high school in La Courneuve, and I can testify to what the daily working conditions are like. For us, it means overcrowded classes with 35 students that don't even fit in the classrooms that were originally built. It means broken furniture. Sometimes there aren't enough chairs for the students to sit on. It means photocopiers that break down every morning. It means digital and computer networks that don't work even though we no longer have paper textbooks. Meanwhile, we are asked to teach as if everything were normal. What I am describing here is typical of what is happening in many other schools.
The National Assembly in France begins a crucial second reading of the 2026 Social Security Budget Bill on Tuesday, marking an important stage in the battle over how the country will fund welfare, healthcare, and pensions in the coming year. Prime Minister Sebastien Lecornu now faces the delicate task of building a compromise among sharply opposed political parties, trying to bridge divides on welfare and spending priorities before lawmakers cast a decisive vote. Back in June, President Emmanuel Macron unveiled an ambitious plan to accelerate France's defense spending, framing it as a necessary response to rising global threats and a rapidly changing security environment. Macron pledged to double France's military budget by 2027, bringing forward the target by 3 years compared with the initial schedule, in order to modernize the armed forces more quickly. He made this commitment amid heightened tensions with Russia and a complex geopolitical landscape, arguing that France must be prepared for a more dangerous and unpredictable world. Under Macron, France has become one of Ukraine's strongest backers in the war with Russia, providing military aid, diplomatic support, and backing for tough European sanctions against Moscow. Macron has also repeatedly raised, at least in principle, the controversial possibility of deploying Western troops to Ukraine, a stance that has sparked intense debate at home and among France's allies.